Hi dear students, welcome back to one more session of biofertilizers, and today we are going to talk about the biofertilizers ability of cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria, as we all know, they are the first organisms which are capable of oxygenic photosynthesis on the earth. And since they carry out photosynthesis, we all know they will naturally appear to be green in nature. Now, where does cyanobacteria occur? Cyanobacteria, it can occur in different habitats like in the fresh water, in the marine waters, and even sometimes in terrestrial environments also, they are being found to be present. And the main reason why this wide distribution is mainly been possible is because of the photosynthetic ability of this organism, making it capable of thriving in different habitats. And apart from photosynthesis, cyanobacteria is also noted for its ability uh, to do nitrogen fixation. Not all of the cyanobacteria, but some cyanobacteria, they are capable of atmospheric nitrogen fixation. And as a result, such nitrogen fixing cyanobacteria can sustain in nitrogen limiting conditions. Thus, cyanobacteria may fix ubiquitously available carbon dioxide and nitrogen, and therefore the demand of the two most important elements can be met by cyanobacteria. Now, if you go to look into these pictures, you can see that these two are water bodies which have been flooded with cyanobacteria, giving a greenish tinge for the aquatic water bodies. And microscopically, if you view them, sometimes cyanobacteria will be found to be as single cells, as we have seen like this, and sometimes they might be arranged as filaments, where many cells are being and multicellular, and they will be arranged as uh, more like chains, like or beaded forms. Okay. And there are different varieties of cyanobacteria, but generally speaking, all of them are being found to be photosynthetic, and some of them are being considered to be as nitrogen fixing. Now, where do they get the energy for this? We know the fixing of nitrogen occurs at a very high metabolic energy cost, and but since cyanobacteria is phototropic in nature, it uses the sunlight to cover this energy demand. And the enzyme nitrogenase, which is commonly found in all nitrogen fixing bacteria, is also being present in cyanobacteria, and it is also sensitive to oxygen, and it requires a near to anoxic environment for the nitrogen fixation to happen. And so if you go to consider photosynthesis and nitrogen fixation. Photosynthesis is a process in which carbon dioxide is accepted and oxygen has been evolved. And nitrogen fixation, as I mentioned over here, it is something which requires a nearly anoxic environment because nitrogenase is inhibited by the presence of high amount of oxygen. So, if you go to look onto the situation, cyanobacteria faces a paradox. That is, it has to carry out a oxygenic photosynthesis as well as a or nearly anaerobic nitrogen fixation in its own body. And these two metabolic events are not found to be compatible. So, cyanobacteria has evolved a variety of strategies to overcome this paradox, allowing them to grow at the expense of nitrogen, a ubiquitous source of nitrogen. So, because they want to do both the things simultaneously, they have developed some strategies. And let's just explore what are these strategies which they have done to overcome the simultaneous occurrence of two metabolic events, photosynthesis as well as nitrogen fixation. Most frequently, you can see that most of the filamentous cyanobacteria differentiate some of their cells, their vegetative cells, to specialized cells called the heterocysts. And these heterocysts, they lack the, they are in fact thick walled cells, and not much of oxygen can diffuse into the heterocyst, and it produces a anoxic environment in some cyanobacteria. And these cells lack the oxygenic photosystem and possess glycolipid cell wall that keeps the oxygen concentration sufficiently low for the nitrogen fixation to take place. And this strategy is known as a spatial separation of oxygenic photosynthesis and nitrogen fixation. So, if you go to consider certain filamentous cyanobacteria, some of their vegetative cells will get differentiated into form heterocysts. And in that heterocyst, oxygenic photosynthesis will not be present, and as a result, oxygen will not be evolved, and the process of nitrogen fixation will be carried out in those cells exclusively. So, there will be a spatial separation of oxygenic photosynthesis and nitrogen fixation in the heterocysts. Now, you can have a look at this. This is a heterocyst. See, these are all vegetative cells of filamentous cyanobacteria, and in between there would be a cell where nitrogen fixation will not be carried out. No, sorry, photosynthesis will not be carried out at a very high rate, or sometimes even a low level of photosynthesis will be carried out. In some species, it varies. So, in the remaining cells or the adjoining cells, what happens? They are the vegetative cells which are not differentiated into the heterocyst, and there strong photosynthesis will be carried out. But within the heterocysts, you can see there would be less photosynthesis, or sometimes in some there would be no photosynthesis at all. So as a result, what happens? Uh, Within the heterocyst, the nitrogenases will be present and nitrogen fixation will be carried out. And once a vegetative cell is converted into a heterocyst, it cannot revert back into a vegetative cell. So it's like one cell or one room is converted into a what? Nitrogen fixing room. That's it. So the first strategy to overcome or to carry out nitrogen fixation and photosynthesis simultaneously in the organism is the formation of heterocysts. Now, if you go to consider other cyanobacteria, there are also non-heterocystous cyanobacteria. They do not have heterocysts, but they also need to carry out nitrogen fixation. So what do? Is they carry out the nitrogen fixation during the night, and as a result, what happens? They are temporarily separating the process of photosynthesis as well as nitrogen fixation, and there is a circadian rhythm probably in these cyanobacteria for the photosynthesis and nitrogen fixation to occur. And sometimes there are certain others also which use a combination of these strategies. That is, sometimes they would be having a heterocyst as well as a circadian rhythm by occurrence of photosynthesis and nitrogen fixation also. So this is how the nitrogen fixation and the photosynthesis is together being carried out in cyanobacteria. Now, if you go to consider the nitrogen fixation in the ocean, it is restricted to subtropics and it is carried out by free-living non-heterocystous, filamentous and unicellular cyanobacteria, and sometimes by symbiotic cyanobacteria living with microalgae. But the fresh water, as well as the brackish water and the terrestrial environments, they usually contain heterocystous cyanobacteria, as well as in symbiotic plants and algae also, you can find these heterocystous cyanobacteria. So basically speaking, though cyanobacteria can be carry out the process of nitrogen fixation, they are of two types: heterocystous cyanobacteria, which is mainly been found in the freshwater, brackish water, terrestrial environments and associated with plants and algae. But There are non-heterocystous filamentous bacteria, uh, filamentous as well as unicellular cyanobacteria, and they are mainly been found in the oceans or the marine environments, and yeah, basically in the oceans, and also they might occur as symbiotically living within the microalgae. And cyanobacteria have a circadian clock that synchronizes the metabolic processes and allow for the fixation of nitrogen. Now, if you're going to look into two different varieties, now as a model for this heterocystis and non-heterocystis actinobacteria, we're taking two organisms. A model organism which we can consider for heterocystis type of cyanobacteria is Nostoc. It is a filamentous bacteria, cyanobacteria, which has been found in various environments, and they form monolyform cells in a they consist filaments of monolyform cells in a gelatinous sheet. Now, what do you mean by monolyform? It is something which is resembling to a string of beads. And you can see that nostoc can also be found in the soil, on moist rocks, and at the bottom of the lakes and springs, and rarely they are being found in marine habitats. As we told earlier, mostly the heterocystis cyanobacteria are being found in the what all environments, but the non-heterocystis ones are usually being found in the marine habitats. Of course, there would be variations, but generally speaking, most of the heterocystis cyanobacteria are being present in a wide range of environments. So this is a macroscopic view of nostoc, which has been found to be gelatinous. But if you look it under the microscope, you can see that it is filamentous, and they are being arranged as a string of beads, and hence nostoc is considered to be as a monolyform type of cell, which are being arranged in a which is being surrounded by a gelatinous sheet. Now let's move on to the non-heterocystis cyanobacteria which we can find. Example of that is Glaucapsa. That is also a type of cyanobacteria, but it is non-heterocystis. So the cells are not being converted into heterocyst, but they have a what they will carry out the for nitrogen fixation in the night, and as a result, what happens? There would be a differentiation. That is a circadian based differentiation, circadian clock based separation of photosystem and nitrogen fixation in Glaucapsa. Glaucapsa, they secrete individual gelatinous sheets, which can often be seen as sheets around recently dividing cells within the outer sheets. And the recently divided cell pairs often appear to be only one cell, since the new cells coadhere temporarily. Okay, so I guess you got an idea of cyanobacteria as well as its nitrogen fixation ability. And let's move on to the next one, the Azolla Annabella system. Now, what is the Azolla Annabella system? We all might have heard what is Annabella. Annabella, as we know, it is a free living nitrogen fixer. But at the same time, as Annabella can also have a symbiotic association with Azolla. What is Azolla? Azolla is a water fern, and Annabella, that is also a cyanobacterium. And this Annabella Azolla system, or the Azolla Annabella system, is of much importance because there also the association of Annabella with Azolla increases the rate of nitrogen fixation of Annabella. Now, if you go to consider this system, it mainly consists of 6 different species of Azolla, which are widely distributed in a relatively placid tropical as well as temperate freshwater environment. And different types of Azolla species are being associated with Annabella. And a close examination of Azolla and Annabella teaches that both of them have got photosynthetic pigments. both of them are green in color. The picture doesn't show here Anabana as green, but it is being found to be green in color. And if you have a close look, you can see it is a heterocystis cyanobacteria. And nitrogenase is being localized in the heterocysts of this cyanobacteria Anabana. And uh, because what happens, and it has some advantages compared with the free living cyanobacteria. That is, when Azolla and Anabana is associated, Anabana gets some advantages because what happens, mm, it gets it also gets a environment for sustaining, and there are some benefits. We'll be dealing with that. So compared to the free living Anabana and the symbiotic Anabana will contain a high frequency of heterocysts. And as a result, what happens? The level of nitrogen fixation, or the nitrogen fixing ability of Anabana system, when it has been found to be symbiotic with Azolla, is been found to be very much higher. The most here, as I mentioned here, the heterosis, the nitrogenous complex enzyme is being present, and it converts nitrogen into the ammonium ion. And on the symbiosis, both the partners will get benefit of the association. What happens? The cyanobacterium get a continuous supply of nutrients and protection against herbivores and desiccation, while the host, or which is the host over here, Azolla, the host, it gets a provision of almost all or almost all of the nitrogen needed for its development, by allowing the colonization of, uh, even in nitrogen poor environments, it will be allowed to be colonized. So the Azolla and Anabana system, both of the symbiotes are being benefited equally by their symbiotic association. Now, these are some Azolla species which has been associated with Anabana. And Azolla, just for you to know, it is a genus of ferns in the family Salvinaceae, and different varieties are being present, and it is considered to be as a mosquito fern, and sometimes some people also call it as a duckweed, or some other mosses. It is somewhat similar to that also. And it is normally been considered to be as an invasive plant in the wetlands, freshwater lakes and ditches, and it can alter the aquatic ecosystem and the biodiversity substantially. So it is a menace usually sometimes in the freshwater bodies. And this is a type of Azolla which has been shown. And now let's see the Anabana. As I told you, Anabana is a filamentous one which is having a heterosis. It is a cyanobacteria. And what is the significance of this Azolla Anabana system? Azolla is normally being considered to be as a menace when it grows in the freshwater lakes and all that. But if you go to consider agronomically, it is of importance because the capacity to fix atmospheric nitrogen is very high, and this provides a cheaper and a faster rate and make it available for the crop plants. So the nitrogen fixing ability of the system can be utilized to provide fertility to the soil. So if you take uh, this particular plant, it can be used for the enrichment and to maintain the soil fertility, and thus offers around ecological sustainability on a long-term basis. So owing, you can just grow them and you can take them as a biofertilizer. And owing to its several other uses such as green manure, water purifier, animal feed, etc., this system, or the Azolla and Anabana system, is considered to be as the green gold mine. So with this we come to an end of the session. Thank you for your patience.